Take a look.
It's February 14th, 2024. Happy Love Day. I am Actual Pearl. It's time to get in the weeds. Jeremy Lambert is here. Jeremy, I want to tell you before we talk about everything and anything in wrestling, my favorite part about that stupid rock intro that we now have is I find something new every time we air it. And my favorite thing that I notice now is if you look in the crowd of people, there are two guys in white hats. And at one point, the guy on the left points up to the screen as if he's seeing something. What he sees at that point is the CM Punk with a mustache as it comes across the screen. And now I can't stop seeing it.
I'll have to take a look at it next time it pops on to see this man pointing. He was just doing what The Rock does. He was pointing like The Rock was pointing.
He's pointing at the sign. It's WrestleMania season, so
Yeah.
he's just pointing at the CM Punk season sign.
For sure.
How are we doing? Happy Love Day, Jeremy Lambert. I know it's an important day for you.
It is. I love love. Let's see if we can get the hearts going here.
There
we go. Look at that.
If you're on Facebook, you can drop the heart emoticons instead of the just the thumbs up. You can always drop a thumbs up, especially on the video if you're watching on youtube.com/FightfulOverbooked, and super chats and all that stuff, and tell us how much you love by sending us a super chat and how much you love us. And you can also subscribe to the channel because that's the best way to love us, okay?
Do people love us? I mean, I hope so.
I've been told that some people love us. Oh, we got to talk about this. I got a big cheesecake for Valentine's Day.
That sounds terrible. Who would do that to you?
That sounds lovely. This is what you and I, this is honestly, of all the arguments you and I could possibly have about anything in the world, it's this. I love cheesecake, man. Most people do.
That sounds awful. Why is someone trying to poison you, Remedy? That's not
poison. The only thing that's poison is if there's too much not enough filling. Okay, not enough cheese in the cheesecake.
Cheesecake's awful.
Andrew Zarian is in the chat. He's who doesn't love cheesecake? The guy that sits next to me after every show. The guy, that guy doesn't.
Cheesecake's terrible. Absolutely. Oh no, the wife is just emerged and trying to tell me that I'm incorrect. It's
good. I hope that she sets you straight on your cheesecake hatred.
Andrew Zarian, would you walk 15 miles across the Brooklyn Bridge for a cheesecake?
I bet he would. I really do think he would do it.
Nah, this is a long running thing. I thought that people knew that I don't like cheesecake. I've been very open about my disdain for cheesecake. This is not something that is new.
Oh, Zarian's saying it depends which one it would be. It's Zarian, wherever it would be across the bridge.
Hold on, where did Diddy make the band go? Diddy the band cheesecake. This is for shout out to people who got that reference of walking. It was walk all the way from Midtown Manhattan to Brooklyn's famous Junior's cheesecake. Andrew Zarian. I don't know what that is, but
it's a good question in the chat. Can we consider pizza a type of cheesecake? Maybe deep dish?
Why? What?
Maybe deep dish pizza is a cheesecake?
Huh?
Yeah, it's got dough. That's the base. It's not a crust, it's a dough. And then you got cheese in the that's the filling. And then sometimes you put some meat in it, but that's like the topping on a cheesecake. I think a deep dish style would be considered a cheesecake. A very decadent cheesecake.
No.
Zarian's saying Junior's is not the best, but really good.
Okay. Well, that's where Diddy made the band, DABAND, walk during making the band. Yeah, that's an old school reference for all my people out there. And made them walk there to get cheesecake. Amazing television that MTV used to air before they just showed ridiculousness 15 days straight.
So it's funny because I am I'm Canadian, as people know. When I was in Vegas, and I also don't really watch TV. I don't have cable here. So when I'm in Vegas, I have a TV in my hotel room, and I'm going through the guide, and MTV comes up, and it legitimately is just ridiculous. It's over and over and over and over again with like a random hour block of something else just kind of spliced in once a day. It's kind of wild.
Cheesecake's terrible.
Cheesecake rules. I'm sorry, man.
No.
Chat, what's your favorite type of cheesecake?
The one that belongs in the garbage.
Wow. I'm asking Chad, not you, you monster.
It's terrible. I'm sorry to anybody who likes cheesecake. My apologies.
Yeah, people who love and love cheesecake, you're telling them that they can't love the thing that you love, which is love, and they love cheesecake.
Like, if you love cheesecake, more power to you. Oreo cheesecake, that's
cool.
just like an Oreo. I've had that. You make it with like the Oreos. Like, I don't consider that like a cheesecake though.
See, turtle cheesecake, that sounds good. Pumpkin
turtle cheesecake.
Yeah, not the candy turtles, not the chocolate turtles. The chocolate and caramel and peanuts. You ever had turtle before?
I feel like I know of that. I'm not a big caramel fan.
It's one of those things that usually comes around the holiday season, but also it's like everybody knows about turtles, but not a lot of people have eaten turtles.
See, Cody right here is just upsetting me. Cheesecake with caramel sounds terrible.
No, delicious. Absolutely.
Terrible.
And when you can go to the store and buy like those little tiny round ones at the grocery store for like $1 and just go out and sit on a park bench and eat it before you pick your kid up from daycare because it's been a shitty day. Yeah, that's the stuff. I'm not projecting at all. What are you talking about?
I was highly offended by the Super Bowl commercial where they're like, we're making Reese's better. We're adding caramel to it. I was like, no, why'd you ruin Reese Cups? What's wrong with you?
I saw that a while ago. I saw that. Will Arnett is just voicing everything now. It's kind of
yeah, he does. He does.
He's just, we need a deep, grovelly voice that's not too serious, but also just a little bit funny. I have the guy. Did you guys ever watch Arrested? No, never mind. I got the guy. And then they bring in Will Arnett, and they're like, "It's perfect." I don't know why, but he's just perfect.
I've been to Cheesecake Factory before. It's been forever since I've been to a cheesecake. I've never ordered the cheesecake though. I don't like it. I'm sorry, everybody. Sorry if that offends you. I don't like it.
All right. You know what? To each their own. Everybody has a different opinion about things, and as long as we have respect, no, absolutely not. As long as we can respectfully disagree, and then we just go back to work.
I don't respectfully disagree. I vehemently disagree, and all of you are wrong.
Shout out to Louis talking
Don't come out here yelling at me about cheesecake.
Wow, that's like a hell of a lover's quarrel to have on Valentine's Day.
Share the door open, and I just assume that is,
I was hoping it would have been funny if it was like the cat just opening.
The cat will scratch at the door, but the door actually fully open, so I knew it was not the cat. No opposable thumbs on the cats. They're very stupid animals, they can't open doors.
Oh my gosh, Shucky Ducky gets it. No cheesecake at the factory. It's like going to Wine Garden and only eating cheese. I can't believe it. We canceled Valentine's Day because of this. Thank you. You did it.
Cheesecake's awful. It's just sorry, everybody. Sorry.
It. We have the best chat in this business. They're all getting into this conversation. Okay. Shall we get into? We do have a lot to talk about today. We don't have a guest because we decided that we could banter for 2 hours, and so far we're doing a pretty good job. But yeah, I mean, we've got Raw to talk about. We've got the Scott D'Amore update that dropped on Fightful Select from yesterday. I want to kind of touch on that. We'll talk about Dynamite because that's tonight, and it's shaping up to be a pretty fun show. You got a Texas death match because where are you this week? Texas. So you got to have a death match.
Texas, you big dumb bitch.
That's right. So you got to have a Texas death match in Texas, you big dumb, you know what? And then I also want to circle back to a conversation you and I had on Monday relating to AEW, and that was the hard brand split idea, because I've thought about it some more, and maybe there is a serious conversation to be had beyond like no, don't do that.
Okay,
so
well, before we get into that, we have to address this.
Sure.
Please tell me more.
Louis. Yes. This is like the time I sat next to an NHL goalie at Benihana's while he got drunk with his family.
Do you know who Dion Waiters is? Joel
No,
Pearl.
but my point was it's sitting next to important people.
I mean, let's be honest on the scale of how important Dion Waiters is. In my world, very important person. Love Dion Waiters. Thunder legend Dion Waiters. Hit a people's elbow in a playoff game. Mind you, there's your wrestling tie-in. Love Dion Waiters. In the actual grand scheme of things, Dion Waiters not that big of a deal. He's a rookie and was there with Tyler Zeller. Wow, what a combo that had to be. How many gummies you think Dion Waiters had prior to going to Cheesecake Factory, Louis? Had to be a lot. Had to be. Dion Waiters stories, by the way, again, legend in my chat with my pal Sam or Katie. I understand you don't. Oh, I just gave a shoot last name. My fault.
Whoops.
It's on his Twitter. It's fine. Joel, I know you don't understand anything about basketball, but Dion Waiters, absolute legend. So I need more on this story, Louis. Please tell me everything you have. All right, what were we talking about, Joel?
You were the one teeing up a conversation that you were having, bringing up. I love Remedy being like, "I'm sorry for derailing the show, buddy. This is weekly. This is what we normally do before literally the world exploded and wrestling got awful at the same time." And
Hell yeah, Dion Waiters. I watched Dion Waiters. It was when he was on the Thunder, played against the Hornets. I went to the game. He tried to like take off from the free throw line for like a Michael Jordan type dunk, and like he was way short, so he tried to lay up. You know what a layup is, Joel?
Yeah, I do know basketball terminology. Thank you.
Like he airballed the layup. It was very embarrassing.
That is bad.
Dion Waiters, the famous quote of like, I'd rather go 0 for 30 than 1 for 3 or whatever, because 1 for 3 means I stop shooting. Again, he hit a man with a people's elbow. The step back jumper, we called that the no can defend, because he was like, yeah, you can't defend my step back jumper, when really all you got to do is like let him shoot it. And there's a 70% chance he'll miss it. So that's the pretty easy defense. Oh, love a good Dion Waiters story. Louis really derailed the show. Cheesecake, at least everybody's in on. I feel like me and Louis are just having like our own conversation about Dion Waiters while everybody else is like, the fuck is Dion Waiters?
I mean, it's true. It's true. This is what happens. Even Kim Gray's in the chat being like, people are all my Valentine. Just don't tell my husband. We won't tell if you don't tell. Okay, Kim? Hope your husband isn't watching, but also is doing well.
What I was gonna do before we got into this Cheesecake Factory or cheesecake debate. Nope, it's terrible. Nope. Who the hell told you it was open mic night? I won't say that word to you because I love you. That's what we're getting for our Valentine's lunch. We are not. That's what you're getting for Valentine's lunch. Why are we gonna throw money away?
It's delicious money. Let her eat delicious money.
That sounds terrible. You're gonna get a bunch of cheesecake for Valentine's Day. Like,
good. Send some to me.
Doesn't do anything for me.
Yeah, you make her happy. That helps. Oh, made her so happy that the internet broke. I love it. That's what we're here for. See? No pop. Wait, I can do this. He's not here. I gotta find the video. Where's the video? Where's the video? Where is it? Where's it? There it is.
Exactly. No pop.
Yes. Comment made. And he didn't get to see it. Look at that. We're doing it. Look at this. Monet. I don't have that, though. Eventually, Jeremy's going to come back. But I guess for now, it's just me. So what do? I mean, I got she unplugged the router. I can't believe that the anonymous ITW general manager would do such a thing. He's got the best look on his face, too. This is the my wife told me we're going to go have cheesecake for lunch look on my face. With the love underneath. Oh, now it's all me. This is awful. Okay, so, I haven't done a solo show in a very long time. And it's very awkward, even though I just dropped. By the way, my Macklin interview drops at noon Eastern on youtube.com/Fightful. My contractually mandated Steve Macklin interview. We sat there in a hotel room in Las Vegas and we played nice because we had to. Otherwise, we were both going to get fired from our respective jobs. So we played nice and we spoke for a while. Jeremy Lambert appears to have returned. Hello.
Is this working? Is this thing on?
I think you're back.
Okay. All right. The cheesecake.
I can't believe your wife got so angry that she unplugged the router.
Yeah, she cut the internet. Done with this.
Okay, I thought it was about to happen again.
Oh gosh.
You're back. You're good for now. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Hello? Okay.
You're here.
All right. What were we talking about?
You were gonna say some stuff, and then we started talking about cheesecake and cheesecake related activities.
Oh, okay. Okay. Here's honestly, the cheesecake thing was much a more productive use of our time than what I was gonna say.
Oh.
Because I was just gonna complain, and I don't know if people want me to complain.
I mean, is
Yeah,
it about professional wrestling?
yeah,
Then
yeah.
yes, people will absolutely listen to you complain. That's kind of what we do.
So you responded to this, Joel. Trevor Dame, we like Trevor. He does a great
Oh,
job
yeah.
covering various things, specifically press conferences, but trying to hold media accountable and things like that. Um, so you responded to about like, oh, Trevor was kind of making a joke about the Vince stuff. It should have been in a rankings format, and then people would have talked about it. And you were like, we're gonna keep people abreast of the situation on In the Weeds, and we're gonna continue to talk about it. The thing is, not new information doesn't come out every single day. So like, we're not going to talk about it every single day, but when there's something new that comes out, we will. On the subject of that. One, I back Joel of yes. I hope people realize that when new information comes out, we will continue to speak about it. Right now, there's not a whole lot to speak about. It's the same information we know. Um, again, when new stuff comes out, we'll have hopefully a new angle to take on it. But on the overall subject of that is, I think people understand what I do for a living. Again, this is gonna sound like I'm complaining. I'm sorry. I don't mean to come off like I'm complaining about stuff. Wrestling kind of sucks right now. Not only with the Vince stuff, and maybe there's not new information coming out about Vince, but everybody feels they have to have a comment on it. And when everybody feels they have to have a comment on it, and I'm not talking about people online, I'm talking about people in wrestling, like Matt Riddle, who truly gives a fuck what Matt Riddle thinks about this. But as a news writer, sadly, I have to write about Matt Riddle's comments because it is relevant and I don't know about important. I shouldn't say that, but it is newsworthy. Former show. But Tony Khan makes a comment that is a little bit more relevant and important than whatever the hell Matt Riddle has to say. Regardless, anybody who makes a comment about it, I'm typically writing about it. There's that. There is also, I'm sure people have seen, maybe you haven't, the reality of wrestling situation that is going on with Booker T. There was a big story on Fightful this past weekend about all of that. Booker commented on his podcast on Monday about all of that. And then Rachel Rose put out a YouTube video late last night that I just put together an article on this morning. It gets very overwhelming and it really pertinent, sure. It gets I don't know the word. It's just like I think
It's mentally
overwhelming.
draining is a pretty good
Yes, draining. Draining is a good word. Yeah, it gets very mentally draining having to cover all of this. Again, there might not be new information with the Vince stuff, but everybody wants to wrestlers want to comment on it, and so it just drudges it all up again because I am writing the same line about the case and the allegations every single day. When it comes to the Rachel Rose stuff, there is new information because people who are part of the story are commenting on the story. I don't want to, again, this is not trying to make it sound like I'm complaining. I do think that I'm covering this to the best of my ability on it. And I also think, especially in the case of the Rachel Rose stuff, because we were the ones who kind of put that story out there, I almost feel like I'm the only one covering this. And that's not again a complaint, that is almost a fact of you don't see a lot of other websites who are really looking at these comments and running stories on this stuff. They're, if anything, probably just waiting for me to do it. And like, okay, well, then I'll just take what Fightful says because they're the one that covered the story. Anyway, it's not fun to cover sexual assault allegations, sexual trafficking allegations, stalker allegations. It's not fun to cover any of this. And it does get very draining. And I do get very burnt out on it. And sometimes it doesn't make the on-screen product as fun for me. That's all apologies to the talent who's working on screen because they are trying their best. It's all apologies to the talent that has nothing to do with any of this because they are trying their best. But I just don't always feel like sitting down and be like, you know what I really want to do today after writing about all of this stuff? I want to watch some professional wrestling. Typically not how I'm feeling at the end of the day. I would rather watch something else. Again, I don't know. I, this doesn't have too much of a point. I'm just waking up every morning at this point and being like, what shitty thing is going to happen today that I have to write about? And waking up and seeing Rachel Rose has posted a new video and spending my morning covering that and then jumping on doing this show, which I love doing. It's just like, man, I kind of just want to take a nap.
Yeah, that was me yesterday, for the record. My Tuesdays are usually my day off, no wrestling, no kid. I take him to school, and then I have the rest of the day to run errands and just be away from everything. And I did that. I worked on one thing that I was that Denise Salcedo reached out to me to help her with something that was video related or audio related. Helped her with that, but otherwise I was out of wrestling. I'll be honest, I didn't watch NXT last night. I knew what was going on. I followed on what was going on. Probably going to watch the show later today, but last night I wasn't really interested in wrestling because of a lot of what we talked about and a lot of what I tweeted about with the Trevor Dame thing. And I got what he was talking about, but I also know that he takes kind of a jokey joke approach to some of this stuff. And so I understood the reference, but I also wanted, before anyone tried to either dogpile on him or take it as like he's right, everyone should be doing this all the time and talking about always, I wanted to at least set the tone and the example that, like I said on Fightful, we haven't stopped working, talking, doing anything related to a story that is awful to cover but needs to be talked about. So we continue to do that, and we continue to do it because it's important to us, and it's important to fans to understand what's going on and the severity of the allegations and the severity of the story, and also the fact that this isn't going to go away tomorrow, but also it's not going to stop tomorrow either. This is a long term story. This is going to be there will be more conversations, but they're not going to be every day. Today is a lot more lighthearted, to be honest, in terms of the content that we're going to go over, because there isn't anything to talk about, and we're not going to force anything to talk about when there isn't anything currently to talk about. You know what I mean?
I hope people do take their breaks. I hope people do find enjoyment in wrestling and they can watch NXT without thinking about all of the other stuff going on, or they can watch Raw or Dynamite, whatever you want to watch. Even, hey, if you need to get away from wrestling, I completely understand that as well. I do hope people take their breaks, and I do hope people don't try to put themselves in a bubble of this daily. I think that's okay. I fully think that's okay. I wish I had more capability to do that. I unfortunately oftentimes don't, because this is the job that I have. And I think this goes for Sean as well, who's also reporting on all of this stuff. It's like it can get very taxing. And I don't know. I apologize to people if I'm grumpy. Because it's not just that portion of it. We fill a lot of roles here. And so I'm also like being asked questions from other people of like, hey, should I do this? Should I do that? And sometimes I'm just like, man, I don't know. I don't know. Can you just like do it and then not bother me with it? I'm sorry, but I just don't have the capacity to think of other things. And like, I'm not always given that grace. I know I have to be like, yeah, I'll try to make this work. I'll try to figure this out. Okay, I'll try to do this because that's just part of my job. But I truly do hope people actually take their time and do get away from the situation as best they can. And I don't begrudge you for doing that. And I don't think you are ignoring the situation for doing that. I don't think we are ignoring the situation for doing that. I just don't always want to rehash it, and I can hope that people understand the positions we are also in when it comes to doing all of this.
I think it's really funny and really interesting that if anyone has ever had experience working in a not nonprofit, in a startup of any kind, a startup business is full of people who are just trying to figure shit out while doing work that they deem important and that they're trying to show people is important as well. And that's kind of what we at Fightful are. We are a startup for all intents and purposes. We may have been around since 2016, but like as a growing entity, as the way that we are now, we're still developing, we're still figuring it out. And as a result, things that Jeremy talks about when it's like management or what should I do? How should I do it? Like the day-to-day managerial roles you take on in a startup are not ones that you're necessarily trained for in a startup mentality. I've experienced it, so I understand it, but I don't know how many others do when they're watching our show. Because if you're working a desk job, you're working in a place where the place it's been open for 25 years and it's an established company and so on and so forth. Like there's already a procedure in place for everything. The management is understanding and knowledgeable, and they know what they're doing because they came with experience. Where in the startup culture, often you're figuring it out as you go along. It's very DIY, and you want to tie it all back to wrestling. When did we talk about this with CM Punk? Punk wanted structure because Punk didn't get structure in AEW because AEW has that startup mentality, and it's not a bad thing. It's just the way that operation is. So as a result, WWE, which has been around longer, they have procedures set up. It is a different boat. It is a different wheel, and therefore everything operates differently. My point being, as you kind of say those words, I think about the fact that we're all figuring it out, especially in wrestling media where we don't have oodles of money and oodles of backing dollars to do it. But we're also doing work that is important to us and important to the people that we serve, being the audience and our fan base, our listenership, our viewership, whatever you want to call them, people who watch the show. That's part of what we do, and that's part of what wrestling media is tasked with doing, especially as we become and have become at Fightful the predominant news breakers and predominant news makers of wrestling media.
As you say all of this, and look, I agree, because I don't think a lot of people understand what a lot of us do on this, especially like behind the scenes kind of stuff. Because we're all just trying to build this thing and make it the best we possibly can. Maven has scheduled a live stream titled "Addressing the Vince McMahon Allegations." Sure, just sure.
The man got rightfully flacked for his last thumbnail, which was things that you couldn't do in WWE, and it was him doing the oh my god face while there was a photo of Vince McMahon with his arm around someone on an episode of Raw or SmackDown, and everyone was like, that's a little not great. And now he's got to talk about it. Okay, I don't know, man.
See, but this is what I'm talking about.
Not everyone needs to talk about it.
Well,
Not everyone needs to give their official on the record opinion. How's that?
You know what people should do when they're
don't
do it, man. Allegations.
Don't do
you
it.
Know what they should do?
I guess that means you need to shut the fuck up. That's what I do if I don't have no army. I would fuck up. Shut the fuck up.
Yep.
That's what they should do.
I've said this, and this is kind of the last comment I want to make. This is something that I've said online, and I stand by it. And I don't, and I don't want people to get the wrong idea, because I am sure as shit not gatekeeping this conversation or the coverage of allegations of any kind. But if your reasoning for doing a story or having a conversation about this lawsuit is because you think it'll bolster your clicks and views, stop. Do the thing that Jeremy just did. That video, do what it says. Stop it. Okay, STFU, stop it. Do not do it. It's not going to work. If you're ready to have a serious conversation about it, absolutely approach it and be mindful, be tactful, be respectful, and have those conversations. But do not come into it just so you can come running and screaming on whatever platform you use about your feelings, because this is much more than a feelings story. Cody and the Rollins and Rock stuff, feeling story. Yell into the microphone at 100 miles an hour. Again, David LaGreca, I bring up Busted Open. LaGreca did fantastic work having fun with that story and being passionate and emotional, but they also know when to take it down and do a serious conversation about what's going on in real life. If you're going to have those real life conversations, you got to be ready to have those real life conversations.
I hope Maven actually speaks about whatever his experience is and the lawsuit, and like does handle it with tact and isn't just out like, let me do a live stream about the Vince allegations for stuff that I mean, he wasn't there for the timeline of Janelle Grant. So obviously the Vince stories go way, way back. Maybe he can speak to that. But I do think a lot of people are just speaking about it because, hey, it's a big topic to speak about. Let me get some clicks on this. A lot of wrestler podcasts feel like they're doing this, and they shouldn't. And they should shut the fuck up about it.
Yeah. I was going to add something. Now I just don't want to do it. I was going to say something and now I just don't want to do it. So I'm going to leave it. If it comes up, you know what? I will, because it was funny. We dropped I don't know if you saw this. We dropped the Tim Marchman interview, the actual separate one.
Yeah.
I know you say don't read the comments, but I like to go in and I filter the comments. I just make sure that no one's saying anything incredibly disrespectful, because once in a while there are some people who come in and say some heinous things because it's YouTube. Someone has to moderate. So I take that on because I offered to do that. So I do that. Shout out to that one person who and I doubt they're watching this one. Just a wall of comments, including one that said something along the lines of, you can tell Jeremy and Joel are shaking in their boots and just waking up in cold sweat as Tim explains how to do their job to them. And I'm saying, my reply was basically, you realize we asked Tim to join the show, that this was our decision, right? And then their reply was just like, oh, I guess I got a little out of hand. I'm sorry. I saw that, and all I could think of when I read it, all I thought was just like, huh?
Why would we be shaking in our boots and waking up in a cold sweat? Because Tim is explaining all of this. Yeah, we did ask Tim to come on. We want Tim to hopefully help everybody. And we want Tim to come on because I thought it would be a useful conversation for everybody, ourselves included.
Yes.
Oh, whatever.
It's
That's why you don't read the comments, Joel.
No, but again, this is one of those times where I was just reading the comments and I was like, what? Do you read what you're saying? A lot of stream of consciousness. Maybe that was Jensen Burner. You want to talk about stream of consciousness? I called him out for doing the Weekender in his car this week.
Awesome.
Love Steven Jensen. Please go watch the Spotlight every Thursday morning on youtube.com/Fightful. Jeremy and Steven Jensen do a great job. They got a good interview coming up this Thursday, don't you?
I think so. I was present for it.
Wonderful. I'm so happy.
I can't remember it. No, it was fun. It was Patrick O'Malley who was referee on the independent scene. He was a good dude. So yeah, we have that interview this week. Jensen's going to take a victory lap, I'm sure, because Cody's getting his WrestleMania match.
Good.
So.
TV's back on the wall. He's happy. He's excited. Yeah. Doesn't have to record the Weekender in his car because he burned down his apartment. It's going to be fun.
Maybe. I don't know.
Who knows? Before we get into the Seth and Cody stuff, I know chat's kind of talking about the Shotsi Blackheart injury that happened in NXT last night. Just want to send some love to her. Hopefully the injury is not so severe that it keeps her out for a long time. It just sucks when anyone gets injured in the ring, especially when they're currently, busy and booked and being featured. So yeah, just want to send that out. Shotzi is a fantastic human and a fantastic worker, and it sucks to see anyone get injured in the ring.
Yeah, hopefully, it's not too serious. She heals up quickly. Very unfortunate that the injury happened. And hopefully she's back sooner rather than later, or we can at least rehab goes well and everything. Never won injuries.
Yeah, she's scheduled for a match on Friday for Elimination Chamber qualifier match. Someone in the chat's asking how will they explain it. Honestly, I think they'll just explain it as such. She got injured at NXT on Tuesday, and that's that.
Yeah,
that's that. I don't think they need to make a kayfabe argument for it. It's just
who's she scheduled to face on Friday.
I feel like it's Tiffany.
Oh, okay. They might maybe they run some type of injury angle. I don't know, because they like doing that. Regardless, maybe they do damage control injured Shotzi and then just run an angle off of it. Though, but the weird thing is like doing that because like they taped the match, so I don't know if they'll like air the portion of the match and then have the injury. But then Ava, sorry, this is spoilers, everybody. Ava came out and just said, "Oh, open challenge." So maybe they just don't air the match at all. Ava just comes out and is like, "Hey, Shotzi's not medically cleared, as you heard on Friday's SmackDown. Now we're going to do an open challenge for the title." Maybe they do that. I do think that they'll say on SmackDown though she got injured. Maybe they do some type of an angle, and you probably don't want her flying out to the venue or anything for SmackDown, but maybe they have some type of an angle that they can run or speak of. I'm sure they have Shotzi laying out in the back from a clip 2 years ago or something.
Gonna bring out Charlotte Flair. Have her. She's ahead of her recovery. Charlotte Flair is gonna come out and just win the match against Tiffany Stratton. There you go.
I mean, maybe Charlotte hashtag bow down. Hopefully
right.
she's back sooner rather than later.
That's the reason why Andrade is not on the show, is because they got into an argument over who gets to use the bus. she said, "No, you can't use the bus while I'm injured." And he's like, "Then I just won't come to work." And everyone's just like, "We can't do anything about this. He either comes to work or he doesn't get the bus." I don't know what's going on. Anyway, we send our best to Shotzi.
Yeah. There are a lot of ACL injuries to women all over women's sports. It's tough. I don't know what you do to prevent that. It's not just a WWE thing. I mean, we just saw Kylan King announce she got an ACL injury. Like it's rough. It's rough. And I don't know how you prevent it. I don't know what kind of medical you use to prevent it. Honestly, injuries they just like happen, They got a player coming on the field, Greenlaw on the Super Bowl. He was just jumping out onto the field after a punt. Achilles popped. Like shit just happens, man.
Yeah, it does. It's wild. I mean, the Seth injury was also, it was just a bad landing on a jump, on a what do you call it? Wasn't it a moonsault?
Yeah. Moonsault. Yeah.
Anyway, so that's where that is. Yeah, I just figured we put that out there. Should we talk about Raw? Speaking of Seth.
Yes, Seth came out and he said Shield. Big fan of Michael Chiklis, I guess.
Yeah, he's gonna shave his head bald. He's gonna come out looking like a giant nutsack and be like, "I got this." What? Sorry, Family Guy reference. That was a deleted scene too, so that's really digging deep if y'all remember. Yeah, Seth comes out, cuts a good promo, great promo. Everyone's excited, and he mentions that he's gonna be the shield to Cody's American's Night Sword. And this got me thinking, where does this go? What is this match? What does he do? There are
tag team
possibilities.
match.
If you do, okay, so let's explore the possibilities. The tag match is good. By the way, get your super chats in. Let's talk about this whole thing. That you can do the tag match, which I agree. We should do tag match, Cody and Seth versus Rock and Roman, but they should add it that the winner gets, if they beat Seth and Cody, then Cody doesn't get to finish the story night 2. It's going to be Rock Roman night 2. And then if Seth and Cody win, then Cody gets his night 2. His main
sucks for Seth. He's like, I gotta wrestle twice.
He's gotta wrestle. Yeah, he's got to do it anyway. That's just that's the one issue with this idea. Again, we're putting out ideas. And then if you do the tag match night 1, Seth is going to be heavily involved in the finish and the pin. He's either going to get the pin, take the pin, or protect Cody from getting beat down by the Solo or Jimmy Uso or whoever comes out to try and get involved in the match. But it feels like Seth is going to be the protector despite having a hobbled wheel. But yeah, that's one of the things I was thinking about. Also, Seth basically just saying Roman came out here and said that my belt is second rate, and yeah, he's right.
Yeah, like
I didn't like that part.
that's where I'm lost. I'm like, this was a great promo from Seth. Like, it was a good promo. The story they are telling with Seth is good. The problem is the story is disjointed because they made it disjointed with just Cody stepping aside and then not stepping aside. And also Seth being a champion for a belt that he doesn't seem, even he doesn't seem too concerned about. He's like, I'm more concerned about protecting Cody than this Elimination Chamber qualifier where I'm going to have to defend my title and getting my WrestleMania match. Like, Seth has the right motivations as far as Roman Reigns goes, and now The Rock and even a little bit Cody. But being a champion with these motivations after he was like, pick me, Cody, pick me. And then it was, I understood why you didn't pick me. I don't have the title that's actually meaningful here. And I was like, you're just proving everything Roman and even Cody have said to basically be true. Like, if I don't know, if I'm Seth, I'd have a little bit more pride in that title. I'd be like, you didn't pick me, all right, fuck you. Like, I'll go out, face Roman Reigns, do it on your own. You think you can beat this dude? I hope you do. Don't come crying to me when you fail again. We could have had a banger match because people love when they use those terms and things like that. We could have had this
he's not
great
around
match
right now. He's injured, so he's
sorry. Hope best wishes to Sheamus. I'll like him back on television soon. We could have had a great match. We could have stolen the show. We could have proven what this title was all about. And instead, you want to try to once again face Roman Reigns. You want to be a little bitch and step aside, but then not step aside. Like, Seth should have called him out on that stuff. The story's disjointed. They're trying. They're making their best out of it. The players involved are very good. I know a lot of people are intrigued by it, but when you really break it down, the story is very disjointed.
This is why I'm okay with letting it play out, because it's been pivoted, it's been changed up. There are things that they still have to kind of figure out, like, why did Cody say I took counsel and I'm not going to take the title at WrestleMania? He's got it, and it's not a hard thing to explain if you're telling the story. It could easily just be they started talking crazy about bloodline stuff, and clearly they had the plan that they were gonna go off and go rogue. So I decided I'm not about that. Blah blah blah. You can tell a story like that. It was once he said that he was gonna trick me, I'm out. So I don't know what they do. I don't know how they do it, but I'm willing to.
Feels like they just ignore it and they move on.
Right now, yes, but it feels like this is one of those things where as they get deeper into the storytelling, they're going to have to address, because people do keep asking, and that's good. I'm glad that people keep kind of making reference to it on their socials and just being like, you should probably explain this one little thing.
Well, you can address that now. Like, you don't have to wait for any of this. We have the match being official, the Roman Reigns.
So sorry, I was going to say, if anything, you do it on Friday when you have Roman and Rock do an in-ring promo where Rock can be like, you want to know what Cody said to me? Cody said this, and then I said, my blood, da da da. And then
Cody didn't say shit to him though.
Cody said he took up counsel. He said he spoke to The Rock. So The Rock comes out and he explains what Cody said to him, and he lies about it. And he lies his teeth out. He just lies about everything. Cody comes out and says, that's not what we talked about. This is what we talked about. And then clearly you didn't want to stay with it. So I came out and I decided that no, I'm going to take back what's mine, and this is my title. Or you can have Triple H be like, I heard what they said, and I didn't really agree with it, so I'm going to give you a title match because you deserve a title match, because that's what the WrestleMania winner does. He wins the WrestleMania title, but it was a great Royal Rumble. We got to talk more about the Royal Rumble and how great it was, and talk about our Netflix deal. Got off on a tangent. Either way, Triple H is going to be involved in the explanation in some way as well.
I don't think Rock is the one that needs to explain this. Rock was the one, honestly, who got screwed over because Cody decided to be like, I took counsel. Here's The Rock. And then Roman is like, I'm going to face The Rock. And Rock's like, here's a family tree. And then Cody came out and said, this is bullshit. Cody was the one who went off plan in storyline here. Anyway, it looked like he stepped aside, and then he inserted himself back in the picture, and then Triple H was like, we're doing Cody and Roman. Cody's the one who needs to explain why he steps aside in the first place, not Rock. Rock doesn't need to explain shit. Rock was like, we talked about it. He stepped aside. We were going to do this match. It was going to be about family. It always was. This is what we're fighting for. This is the bloodline. I'm the high chief. He says he's the tribal chief. And then Cody started acting like a little bitch and disrespected our family. And so I had to smack him.
But see, Cody, he's an idiot.
Thank you for cutting that down, by the way.
Cody's an idiot. That's it. Like, Cody needs to explain this, not Rock.
I think Rock needs to come out and lie about it, and then Cody needs to come out and set the record straight because he's the white meat babyface. And the Rock is the heel, and the heels lie. And then Cody says, I didn't want to talk about it. Now you forced my hand because you flat out lied. And now I'm going to tell you what happened. Maybe. And then when I got to the ring and you told me that I was a crybaby bitch and I had to smile and take it like a man, that's when I decided that on Thursday at the press conference that I was going to take back my match.
Maybe. Cody's got to do some explaining, though. Not
that's
Rock.
Right.
Rock doesn't need to explain. Rock needs to keep calling him crybaby, and that's that.
He has some splaining to do.
So somebody's saying Seth needs to be part of the end of Roman. I agree with that. I've said that.
Doesn't matter. That guy left anyway. He said that our takes are bad. It's fine.
Oh, whatever.
No, but it's true that he does need to be part of the end of Roman.
Yeah.
Cody's putting together his Avengers. Like, this is clearly what's going on.
Yeah, I said that he needs to be part of Roman. I've been saying that. I said he's got more right to face Roman than really anybody else outside of, Cody's won the Rumble, but like the story with Seth and Roman is legitimately one of the best stories they have if they told it properly. And they're not really telling it properly right now because Seth is making his own title feel secondary. But I agree he needs to be part of all of this. The problem is he's got this title that they can't figure out if it's meaningful or not.
Well, it's not.
Well, yeah.
Until Drew McIntyre wins it after he wins the Elimination Chamber.
Drew probably should win it, honestly.
So he should win it and then come out the Raw after Mania and be like, and then I signed a new contract. I don't know why I can't do his accent. That was awful. I'm sorry. It's really bad.
Yeah, you should be embarrassed by that.
I kind of am. I can do better.
Good.
We'll workshop it. We'll try it again later. Drew. And then
what?
I don't know.
What is happening?
It's just what we do here. It's just what we do. So Drew comes out the night after WrestleMania. He won, and he's like, I won the world title, and I signed a new contract.
Okay, so they're doing the tag team match. We all assume they're doing the tag team match, right?
Yep. Given that promo that they ran at Super Bowl, yeah, it feels that way for sure.
We talked a little bit about the booking of it. Like Cody takes the L, and to set up adversity, and then you can't do. If that's the case, then obviously you can't do like, hey, if Rock and Roman win, Rock and Roman.
That's
is
the problem.
Night 2.
That's what I'm. Yeah, that's why I was like, this is an idea. This isn't necessarily the way it should go. Because yeah, Cody should be eating the pin to set up the big moment. And this is why I love, by the way, the night 1, night 2, the tag match into the main event night 2. It really forces you to be at both nights. Like it really is a good cliffhanger. And it's not like one year you're like, oh, I just really want to see this match. I don't care about this match. This is really kind of forcing you to watch both nights in some capacity, which then WWE can turn around and just be like, look how many people watched our show. Yeah, it was for like 19 minutes out of 4 hours, but everybody watched the show. And that's something they would do.
I think Cody should lose night 1 and then he should lose night 2.
And then Roman takes the titles to Hollywood.
Yeah, he should just
with
be
the Rock.
Big old loser at WrestleMania.
The Rock's like, congratulations, you won. And now you and I are going to go be in Moana 2 and you're going to bring in that WWE championship.
The Rock pins him night 1, or Roman just stacks Cody and Seth. Just stack them both. And then Roman pins him night 2. It can stack Seth night 2 too. Seth comes out and tries to help, and he gets stacked again. Roman should stack all these dorks on night 2. Here comes Kevin to try to help. Here comes Sammy. Here comes Jay. Roman just stacks all of them up and pins them all. Like, get these losers out of here.
It feels
This
very, very
beats
wrong.
them all. What do you think of this idea, Sean? The hash brown? Is that a hash brown?
Did the old McDonald's special.
Oh, you went
Oh.
McNuggets.
I enjoy that. Yeah.
You know,
Are you a Cody Crybaby eating your
I am Cody
McNuggets?
Crybaby. Demon Diva told me all week that I was. Not that she would have any incentive to cheer on Roman Reigns. Not like she named her dog after it or anything. But I couldn't get nuggets this early, so I'm just gonna shove these up my ass. Apparently,
Very, very carefully, as Pat McAfee would say. Very carefully.
and I'm gonna put my cat out.
I thought he was actually going to go and just shove them up his ass on camera. This is like a Steve-O Hot Ones moment coming for us.
Got the orange juice
Okay.
as well. Somebody said so. Sean got cheesecake. I did get cheesecake last night.
Atta
Cheesecake
boy.
sucks.
Get out of here, Jeremy.
Cheesecake's awful.
You're
It's
awful.
bad.
What's up with
not good.
cheesecake? What did I miss?
No, I don't like it. That's what's up with it. It's a bad food. It's terrible. People should eat something else.
You know, I don't fault anybody for not liking cheesecake, because if you have been exposed to the wrong cheesecake, well, you're never going to like it. If you get some soggy, crappy crust or something like that, then yeah, you're not going to like it ever. But if you get cheesecake for the first time and it's homemade and it's got that good crumbly crust, oh, it's going to be good.
What kind of cheesecake we eating, Sean?
It's all bad.
What kind of cheesecake we eating?
Straight up.
Yeah, no topping.
No topping. Maybe some whipped cream.
Okay.
Cheesecake Factory out here has a good like Oreo cheesecake, but I can get through like half of it now. Before I started to train for the Shaza match, I could have that and dinner, but now if I get through half of it, I'm like, oh brother, no thanks.
Okay. Chat earlier was talking about pumpkin pie cheesecake or pumpkin cheesecake. Sounds delicious. I'd try it.
Pumpkins make you horny, Joel.
I'm sorry. I'm not doing this right now. It's too early, even for us. Oh my goodness.
I saw it on Mansers or something like that.
Mansers, what a show that
That was-
was.
Yeah, that takes me way back.
What a show. The
Good
cat
lord.
just went into business for itself.
This
As it
cat's
does.
named Kofi.
Hi, Kofi. Oh, he's so cuddly.
He is. He's very sweet.
We appreciate a good cat on this.
We
on
like
this
to think
show.
that he
Oh
would
my
have
gosh.
Anderson Silva's voice, Jeremy.
People what?
We like to think that cat would have Anderson Silva's voice.
Oh, fair. I'm back. Trust me. I back. Anderson Silva ruled.
Is normal. So why'd you all ask me to come on the show?
I don't. Were you asked?
Were you?
You just like appear.
Yeah, you're kind of like Joe Henry in like the worst way.
What is that? Is
I
that
do have
bacon?
eggs.
That's an
Egg
egg.
Oh,
muffins.
That's-
sausage. Yeah.
Oh my god, it's so stale.
Yeah. Their
Oh,
muffins always are.
Nah,
Why
you
didn't
gotta
you
go
go
McGriddle. You gotta
Yeah.
go McGriddle, man.
I know. I've
Yeah.
leaned more into the McGriddle. Listen to this thing.
McGriddle's what's up. You're eating cardboard out here.
I think that's
That's why I don't eat McDonald's much, man. Damn.
Yeah.
Lord. Yeah,
I
that's
always go McGriddle when I go breakfast
Oh.
food at McDonald's. Look at that. Send it back.
yeah, you got to drive it back to McDonald's now.
Yeah, send it back.
I door dashed it.
That's
Paid
like
$20 for this meal.
even better.
Oh, way too
Even
much.
better, you bring it back.
Way too much.
Oh, that sucks. I'm
Should
sorry.
have just got a salmon stack.
Yes, please.
Is the orange juice good at least?
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
It
those
is
are
actually great. Minute Maid ain't gonna let McDonald's mess them up.
Look, they might because they might have just got your order wrong. I don't know if you ordered like a sweet tea and they gave you orange juice. That happens to me. I ordered a sweet tea, they gave me non-sweet tea. I was like, what? What are we doing?
Even though AG1 doesn't sponsor us anymore, I still use their product. I get my vitamin C through their product, but sometimes you just need a nice little orange juice.
Yeah, gets you going through the day. Get that sugar up too.
I spent time last night watching how to make prison pizza, which is actually nachos, but
Are you like
divulge-
planning for something?
Yes.
no, I just
Okay,
popped up in the algorithm.
sure.
What are your kids watching on the account, Jeremy?
Oh, they get very mad that on the account, like it's Fightful videos. They're always complaining,
Yeah.
like, you screwed up my algorithm.
Well, imagine how I feel when Roblox is the only thing that I see on ours.
Is that what happens? I
get a lot of stuff like that. Yeah. It's hooked up to my TV with whatever account that your kids use.
I'm going to
they
start
don't
watching stuff.
use like the Fightful account or
Oh,
anything.
they sure do.
It's not logged in on that though.
They're hacking your computer or something.
They must be, because it's not logged
They're switching
in
the
on that.
account.
Maybe sometimes I have to like search a video to like make sure they're not doing anything super inappropriate. So Roblox is probably something I do search at.
There's another one in here. Come on,
What?
Oliver.
Oh,
It's another cat. That's what I thought we were
what's
doing.
happening?
They just appear. That's the thing with cats.
Oh, the Skibbity toilet. They used to love that. That's gone down a little bit. But
He just likes to hang out on my shoulder all day.
fair.
I got the shoulder cat. That's the good stuff. Yeah, no, this is what I'm saying, man. You gotta go on the Fightful account, watch a bunch of like food content. That's what I'm gonna start doing, is just watching food content and interview content, and I'm just gonna flood the algorithm on that. Our For You page, just food and content.
This cat likes to do backflips. It's very, very strange.
People are gonna start asking for backflips.
I mean, we can see if he'll do it. All right, buddy, come on.
Let's see.
We're trying to
he wants to.
He wants to cuddle up.
He just wants to be here.
We're trying to get Stupid Pet Tricks. That's a show on TBS. I think it airs at 10 p.m. Eastern live after AEW Dynamite.
This little gentleman, he'll start off and I'll just flip him onto the couch, and then I'll take a step back, flip. He just keeps running back to me. He wants it over and over again, to the point to where we can go all the way across the room. And I'm like, I cannot safely do this anymore. Like, it's not an option. Look at that. Look at that.
Oh.
Some weirdos on Twitter might not like me, but this little fella does.
Although the good thing is the weirdos on Twitter don't live with you.
I told this to Kate and Alex the other night. I encountered my first like hater in person, and like he kept on going, SRS is a mark, from his paid seats. But
who's saying that up there?
But his friend kept going, no, Sean, I like you. And after the end of the show, I'm talking to Alexis Littlefoot and my good friend Cody Rhodes. And this guy was like, SRS, you blocked me. And somebody goes, he did the right thing. And I was like,
why does that sound like Terry Funk?
You because you're an asshole. Like, very clearly, I made the right decision here.
You should have had Allie beat him up.
He goes, yeah, she wanted to. He was like, no, you're soft. And I was like, you came to a wrestling show and are complaining about a person who blocked you on Twitter. That is, God, this cat just will not stop.
Sean, can you ask your good friend Cody Rhodes to join the spotlight for 5 minutes to speak with Steven Jensen?
I mean, yeah, but I mean, I could only get a minute with him in Tampa.
You got plenty of time with him at SummerSlam weekend last year.
It was a little bit different.
Yeah. We need to make Jensen's like life to make this happen and do a Cody Rhodes interview.
If I had $10 for every time somebody said, can you get me to meet Cody Rhodes? Can you get me to meet this person? Can you get me tickets?
Steven
Even
Jensen's
the people
different.
that I work with have a fundamental misunderstanding of what my job is.
Yes, that's true.
God damn it.
Can confirm.
But Steven Jensen's different, like
yeah, he is great.
No one rides harder for Cody Rhodes than Steven Jensen. No.
Look. Dude.
It looks like you have a hater in the house after all.
Oh my gosh.
That was
let go. He's addicted to the spotlight.
Seriously. That was great.
Unreal.
Oh my goodness.
Well, guys, it was nice to get your ratings up.
Thank you. Thank you for the house, brother.
Y'all are doing the hump, I assume, this afternoon?
No.
Oh, okay.
What do you guys want to talk about today? Because Jimmy isn't coming to work.
Okay, then I guess my question might be better suited for Jimmy at another time. It was about the D'Amore stuff.
I got a lot of info on the D'Amore stuff.
I know, but I specifically wanted elaboration on the Ontario employment law comment from the select submission.
Fair.
That's more. I think that might be more of a Jimmy comment, but
You know what?
I'll let him elaborate.
I'll get him to elaborate, and then I'll read it on the air.
That would be fantastic. Appreciate you.
See you guys.
Thanks,
Bye,
Tom.
Sean.
There we go. See, sometimes I ask work related questions on this show, helping the people. You know. Yeah, we're not going to hump on Valentine's Day.
That seems disappointing for you all.
That does. Joshua Moreira sent to Super Chat saying for Snoop Dogg, Jeremy.
Josh, what up? Check out Josh on True Heel Heat.
There we go. Oh, that's true, actually. I love True Heel
Yeah.
Heat. Shout out to them. Caden sent a Super Chat saying, love all y'all. Glad to have in the weeds to distract a bit today. You send our love, Caden. Hope you're doing all right. Hope you're doing good on today and every day. And Will Chisholm sent a Super Chat saying, if it's true that they change Jade and might not be in the chamber match, do y'all believe it's because they can't have her take a pin no matter how they book her? If you think so, is it the right thing? Well, we don't know. We know that there is a battle royal for the final participant in the chamber match. We don't know if Jade is involved in that. We don't know if Jade's in the match itself. We just know that at one point there was a rumor that she would be based on the outlines of silhouettes in the Elimination Chamber women's graphic. So I don't know if you have anything to add.
Yeah, I don't know until it gets announced. Right?
Also, I was going to say, like, Bianca pins Jade. You just set up a potential WrestleMania.
Yeah.
No one's going to be upset about that.
Yeah, you can have Jade take a pinfall in an Elimination Chamber style match. I know people get weird about, like, they shouldn't be taking pins this early, like, keep them undefeated forever. No, honestly, get the loss out of the way early, and then that way you don't have to try to book around an undefeated streak. Have her pinned by Bianca, set up the Mania match. She can win at Mania and go from there.
Have her learn from the loss. That's the best part too, is that she comes in and then Bianca be like, you're in the big leagues now. You don't get to go 70 something. Not that they're going to reference it, but like, you don't get to come in and be undefeated here. You don't get to come in and be the top dog. There are other top dogs here. We're going to fight about it. And Jade just like, you know what? You're right. We're going to fight about it. And that's fine.
That's like the worst Bianca Belair promo I've ever heard in my life.
Thank you. I'm not going to do a Bianca Belair promo because I am not Bianca Belair.
It's so simple to do a Bianca Belair promo. Jade comes out and, you know, I don't know if Jade even speaks. Maybe they never speak. They just get interrupted. And Bianca just said, like, you're really good, but you're not the fastest. You're not the strongest. You're not the greatest. You're not the EST of WWE. And I'll see you at WrestleMania. That's it. That's all you gotta do. Just reference the EST stuff.
Just make EST comments. That's fair. Okay, fine. Either way.
That's a Bianca promo.
There you go. Yeah, so it could be as easy as that. Again, I agree with Jeremy that getting pinned early is like not, you shouldn't go undefeated immediately. I would rather Jade react to being to losing a match or being pinned than have her just continuously win. And also you run the risk of just people being weird if you run an undefeated streak that she just got out of that. And like if you debut her the same way that you brought her in AEW, it's kind of like, well, we did this already. Let's tell a different story is what I'm getting at.
Well, she got eliminated in the Rumble. If she gets pinned in a multi-person Elimination Chamber match, fine. Like, these are WWE staples. It's like, okay, and Jade can be very good, but she ain't never been in a Rumble. She ain't never been in an Elimination Chamber. Taking those L's, completely fine. And then she wins the one-on-one match at WrestleMania. Great.
Yeah. You learn
different ways to tell stories that aren't an undefeated streak.
That's right. And even like, you know, they were talking about on Monday, that next Monday is going to be Cody versus Drew. And those are two guys.
Yeah, I was surprised by that.
And those are two guys that you're like, oh, neither of these guys should be losing, but also we can get out of our heads and be like, one of these guys losing can fuel the other. It's not a bad thing. You know, for a long time, it was keep them both strong going into Mania. You've got a lot of time, though, to build them to Mania. Have Drew lose and then have him be a really pissed off individual going into the Elimination Chamber. Have that fuel his rage even more. Odds are it's going to be more of a schmoz finish, if I had to guess. But if you're going to have one win over the other, I'd keep Cody strong because he is, you know, running the main event of WrestleMania, and Drew's the heel. Let the babyface win in a big main event match.
what I would have happen was they're doing their match, it's going well and everything, and then Roman Reigns comes out and he stacks them and pins them both. That's what they should do on Monday. Everybody just gets pinned. I just want Roman to just like burn it down. That's a Seth Rollins thing.
Yeah, I was gonna say
Seth tries to come out and he gets stacked as well. Damian Priest tries to cash in, stacked. All these guys stacked.
Remember when
smashed?
Remember when Seth came out in the Roman Shield gear for that Rumble match in 22?
Yeah, that rolled.
Yeah, you know what I want? I want the role reversal. I want
Now Shield Roman was a little bitch. I don't want that.
no. I want Roman to come out dressed as Seth Rollins for 1 week, wearing the loud ass suits and just pretend doing the cosplay. Oh, let's go. Turn that shit on its head.
That sounds terrible.
It sounds terribly fantastic. Let's go.
I like Roman. That hoodie, that
The
levels
greatness.
Nah, the levels above.
Oh
That's the
yeah,
hoodie, right? Yeah,
yeah.
That hoodie rules right there.
There's
a hoodie guy. I'm a big fan of it.
Good. Yeah, there's been some good gear that this Roman iteration has had. Then there's stuff like the goat, the greatness of all levels, and it's a picture of Roman as a goat, and it's like furry community's gonna eat this one up. That's about it.
Yeah, that goat head one kind of sucks.
Ooh, that was one you want to forget. Oh my goodness. The Bronson Reed thing. We'll bring that up real quick from Raw. So Bronson Reed loses his Elimination Chamber qualifier to Bobby Lashley. No interference from Karrion Kross's group that everyone forgot. The Chronicle? No, what are they called?
You know what's funny is like I'm legitimately trying to think about it and I can't.
The Crossroad?
The Archers of Infamy? Is that right?
Yeah, is that it? Okay. The Cranberries?
What are they called?
Chad, help me. I'm really confused. The Testament. Are they the Testament?
Are they Old Testament or New Testament?
They're probably old, if I had to guess.
Authors of Testament?
Final Testament.
Is it? Are we sure?
Yeah, because Testament's a band that's really good and Final Testament is not. Anyway, so Final Testament didn't get involved. The Cranberries, the Member Berries. I don't even. Wow.
I like the Archers of Infamy.
The Archers of Spencer Love. What are we
doing? Well,
doing?
Joel, this was my special surprise to everybody.
An awful surprise.
It is a day of love, Joel.
Yeah. Okay.
So who better to have on than a man whose last name is literally Love? It is Spencer Love.
He's here to make love with all of us.
This is what happens when I put Joel Pearl over on Twitter. I get invited back to the show again. Hi, guys.
Joel didn't invite you. He didn't have any idea this is going on.
Nope, totally me.
That's
this was
true.
All me. That was the plan all along. Thank you, Spencer, for joining us. It's good to see you.
It's good to see you guys. Happy day of me, I suppose.
Yes, happy you day. Actually, that's different. You days. Oh no, that's me. No, that's we day. We don't do that either.
Spencer, do you know the name of Karrion Kross's group?
Oh God. No, I don't. I don't think I do.
Fair. We couldn't think of it.
Judgment Day 2 Electric Boogaloo. Like I don't know.
La Facción Ingobernables.
There we go. That's what we're gonna go with. The Brood. I don't know. I just hope they're all trying their best and having fun. As long as they're enjoying themselves, that's really what matters.
Just call him.
It's really what matters. Yeah, that's how actually we're gonna get Edge back. He got kicked out of Judgment Day. He's gonna come lead the new Judgment Day.
No, that's a different. New Day is a different group. New Day is a different group.
So. Whatever. We'll cross that bridge when we get there. It's good to see you guys. How have you been? It's been a hot minute.
I know.
Doing all right. Doing okay. You know, it's Valentine's Day. As a lover of love, I can't complain.
Have you got any plans? What are you doing? Any plans you can give away? I guess I don't want to blow the spot for you.
It's funny that you think either of our partners are watching this program. Thank you.
Hey, are you kidding me, Joel?
That's true.
My wife
don't worry. My ex-partner didn't watch any of my stuff either.
My wife watches this show all the time for some reason. No idea why.
She's our general manager, for Christ's sake.
She is the anonymous GM of this show. We exchanged gifts this morning. Look at this, by the way. This is very cool that my wife got me. I'm gonna put this over. So it's a record player, right? But it's an air freshener for the car and what?
For the wrestling fans.
No. Well, I guess so. But the records, like the air fresheners, are Taylor Swift albums. This is a pack of Taylor Swift albums. And so I guess my car is going to smell like Evermore or Reputation. I don't know what that smells like, but
so it's an air freshener. So like, does it freshen, spin the record, play the record, and make your room smell great?
I mean, I'm going to listen to, the songs based on what record is playing on here. And then it'll make the car smell like the album, and also while the music is playing. It's pretty sweet. I never would have.
Just look at the technology too. Like records used to be this big, and now we finally hit a point where we can shrink them down. What's next? How are we possibly going to consume music any better than this?
It feels like at one point we should take a disc and make it mini and put it into a little container that we can shove into a box.
And then put that box in a bigger box.
Yes.
There we go. Look at this.
4 tracks on each side. We'll call it a track listener.
A track list. Are there B-sides?
There's got to be something better.
Yeah.
I don't think so. I do like that your wife got you something from an artist that as much as she loves writing about her lost loves or her broken up loves.
She also writes about love too. Let's be fair to the great Taylor Swift.
Yeah, that's the future Mrs. Kelsey right there. You put some respect on that name.
I think he's more likely this future Mr. Swift.
Yeah, that's honestly
that's
true.
fine by me too.
Travis Swift is a hell of a football name, though.
Yes, and he would be T Swift.
And if you could sell Swift jerseys, there you go.
They're gonna kill all of that. There's an Eagles player whose last name is Swift. DeAndre Swift, maybe.
I thought you were going to say there was an Eagles player whose last name was Kelsey, because you'd be right there too.
Oh, that's also factual. So yeah, they're gonna be at WrestleMania. Hopefully, we're gonna go out to lunch here after this show. We're gonna not eat cheesecake, and then that's gonna be.
Why are you gonna not eat cheesecake?
This cheesecake sucks.
No, don't do it. Don't do it.
What are your thoughts on cheesecake, Spencer? Are you gonna be around for this show for longer than 2 minutes?
I'm for it. I am for cheesecake. I'm not here to like yuck your yum though. If you don't like cheesecake, that's fine. There are more egregious things that people don't like than cheesecake. I'll let this one slide.
Such as?
It's awful.
I don't know. I don't really have any hot takes. I'm a pretty laid back sort of guy.
I know you love everything. That's kind of
I'm a fun guy. I don't know. I don't really have anything I dislike. Apparently, I dislike Karrion Kross's new faction. If I can't even remember the goddamn name, but
I don't know if that's
pretty low hanging fruit. It's pretty low hanging fruit. The Final Testament, someone said, is that right?
Yeah, apparently. Supposedly. We're just gonna agree.
That was his finisher name. Is this like Black Sabbath on the album Black Sabbath by the band Black Sabbath?
Yes, precisely.
This is horrible.
What is his finisher name?
I think it's the Final Testament.
No, that's the group.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I think his finisher is also the Final Testament.
Who's on first?
This can't be right.
I think it's right, Jeremy. I'm nearly certain. You know what? Now
do we have to
now I am angry. Now I do hate this.
Finisher
is the name of Karrion Kross's group on WWE SmackDown. Google tells me he is currently signed to WWE, where he performs as on SmackDown brand under his ring name Karrion Kross alongside his real life Scarlett. He is the leader of the Final Testament, a stable consisting of both himself and Scarlett, as well as Paul Ellering, Authors of Pain, Akam, and Razar. Okay, so now what the hell is the finisher?
Just wait until he starts calling himself like the Final Testament Karrion Kross, and I'm just going to friggin' lose it.
He should call it the Crossroads.
The first result for what the hell is the finisher of Karrion Kross is
Karrion
Kross and the bad finisher. Maybe that's what it's called, the bad finisher.
The bad finish.
Yeah. That's the first video result. The first like web page result is Karrion Kross finisher is trash. So, people aren't a fan of this.
It's called final. It's called the final prayer.
Oh.
Yeah. Shout out SmackDownHotel.com.
No,
Yeah.
I don't believe that's true.
No. Okay.
They should call it the Old Testament and the New Testament.
I agree. They should call the New Testament that move, and the Old Testament should be his chokeout, his cross, the cross jacket.
Akam and Rizar should be like New Testament, and then they just start reading like John 2:12 and everything. I don't know if that's Old Testament or New Testament.
That's new.
I don't know. I don't know if it's got the same ring as 3:16 does.
John 2:12 says, "I just crossroads your ass."
I don't know. I don't know what the final chapter is.
John 13:42 says, "You just got TikToked."
Oh God. At least I remember, like the authors of Pain were the Super Collider, I think, which is kind of
Super
yeah,
Collider was a cool name.
Yeah,
What's in the New Testament? Hold on. We're gonna. Is this sacrilegious? What we're doing?
No, I'm a Jew.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm an atheist, so I think we're doing fine.
I don't want to get like in trouble.
Believe me, there are worse things on the internet.
Okay.
It's true.
Yeah.
What if
Shot 556? This does exist.
What if like they called the authors of Pain the 2 Corinthians instead? Could we do that? Could we get them?
And then you
names?
do you rename them like Patient and Kind? I don't know.
You call them Cain and Abel.
No, we already had Kane. We can't do it.
No, I am happy to retcon Kane. That's fine.
Yeah,
I remember when Zach and I were trying to attribute everything to Nick Gage. Like, remember when Nick Gage interrupted the first Hell in a Cell? That was awesome.
Yeah,
just taking all of those. I think we made some pretty good choices. I think we made some pretty excellent choices.
Scarlett could be Mary Magdalene.
This is the best Valentine's Day ever.
We're going to hell for all of us.
No, I was going to hell far before this, to be honest with you. Just padding the stats now. I'm like Gretzky with the Rangers. He already had it, guys.
That's true. Let's talk about padding the stats. How's Love Wrestling going?
Joel's trying to move on from this conversation very quickly.
I have nothing to add.
Really trying to move on.
Yeah, we've hit the limit of my religious scripture or lack thereof.
They gotta have the authors of Pain be feet people, though, right? Like that's what they gotta have after on Sunday.
Tony Atlas.
They gotta have authors of Pain.
Bookings.
Tony Atlas is joining the Final Testament.
I just said this. Great minds.
They gotta have. They can bring in
Happy Valentine's Day to Tony Atlas and Tony Atlas alone.
They gotta have authors of Pain like walking around backstage, like eyeing people up and down, just like glazing on the feet, and it's just like,
can I help you?
Your feet could use some washing, and then and it's like, yes, I get it. Thank you, authors of Pain. 2 Corinthians, and then that's their gimmick. I feel like we figured out the stable and saved them. We should honestly be praised. It's much better than what they're doing.
I just wonder which one of us is going to get the writer's job that they posted online, because I think all three of us just made a pretty strong case.
Yeah. Listen, if Will Washington can get a job, so can we.
I will speak for myself, and no, I probably could not.
Getting it and keeping it are two very different things, Benny.
There you go. I saw someone post the other day on the Twitter machine about not lying on your resume, and that just seems like a very silly thing.
I think that outright lying
and padding your stats are two very different things.
That's what I'm getting to. I think padding your stats is one thing, or at least it's a big PR move. That's what it is. But yeah, outright lying. If you don't say that you were like the director of content when you were really just wrestling news writer lead. I'm messing with you. As a
generation Exodus.
Paul Ellering should be Methuselah. You could start just breaking this all down. Who was it? Eddie Vedder at the end of Walk Hard, where he's just breaking down all of the rock stars as the disciples. If Bob Dylan was the Lord and Eddie Vedder, of course, was Methuselah. Anyways, we're off to a sidetrack. Love wrestling's going well. Thanks, Joel. Appreciate it. Things are neat. I got no complaints. We are doing exactly what we said we were going to do, promoting the love of professional wrestling. So that's fun.
I still want the role as the hateful general manager.
I think we already gave that to Pulowski though, didn't we? Like we can find a role, but I really feel like Sour Grabs, which is behind the paywall on FightfulSelect.com. That's $5 in the biz.
But he only hates one thing, and that's WWE. Why does he hate you guys?
I thought he just hated wrestling in general. If he just hates the WWE, then we gotta like Jeremy. Do you okay? So you okay? Fine. There we go. We'll do triouts.
There we go.
Send in your CV. I'll just have to figure out. I'll just have to figure out something. I've got a PO box. You can send that one over.
PO box. Why can't I have your home address?
I thought Jeremy was applying.
Yeah, we're trying to take my gig for, Joel.
I could use the money.
Yeah, fair.
Couldn't we all?
This is how Chris Jericho comes back to WWE.
I was going to say AJ Styles on the outside looking in this group being like, what? This is my group. Why am I not here? And then you got the other guys in the OC being like, yeah, that's his group. Give him over.
Nah, they gotta stick. The OC's doing. They got the best job in the biz, honestly. They show up,
and walk out Mia Yim.
Show up, and show up.
Every one of these.
Bless them. Yeah, too sweet, me brother. And then be on their merry way. Bless them. That's the life right there. Oh, man. Spencer, do you have anything to plug or say before we let you go? Thanks for booking, helping book Karrion Kross and his new group.
You're welcome. You know, if there's anything that I look back on or want to be looked back on here for my time in professional wrestling, you know, we're really proud of some of the stuff we've done here in Edmonton. But if we can get Second Corinthians booked as a stable, like there we go. We're looking pretty good. Nothing to plug. If you guys want to come out to our shows here at the end of the month at the Rec Room South Edmonton, we've got our documentary premiere on February 22nd. That is Making Kayfabe. Make sure you tune into that on CBC Gem on February 23rd. But tune into that after you come out to LPW 23 Slambout Willie at the Rec Room South Edmonton Common. Follow us wherever podcasts are played, videos are viewed, or awesome content's created by awesome people at Love Wrestling CA. Ace, I see your Y2AJ comment in there. I am going to make this publicly known again. It is my dream shirt to have one of the Y2AJ shirts. I cannot find one. If anybody can find one for me, I didn't jump on it in the 2 weeks that they were on sale. Link me up. That is how you can make my Valentine's Day great.
I think
that's how you can
it's
help.
Probably like super expensive on eBay, right?
You
probably.
Even Jensen have wanted this for a while.
Why
I would love me.
Let's see. On
love
eBay,
me a Y2AJ shirt.
It's
that
nice.
Or like I'm a big fan that they did right at the start of the pandemic. If I can find one of those, that'd be great. That was an all-timer. But Canadians, like Joel, you can speak to it. Ordering stuff online, whether it's there like Pro Wrestling Tees, shipping is more expensive than the shirt half the time, and I just can't justify that.
It's awful.
I will pay for a piece of cloth, but I will not pay for postage.
I can't find anything on eBay for this. If you search Y2AJ on eBay, you get like motor parts, and I don't think that's what you're looking for.
Unless it's a really good motor part. Like if I need it, like, yeah, but no.
It's not a catalytic converter. I'm sorry, buddy.
Thank you, Spencer. Thank you for joining us on your holiday, a day of love.
Thank you. It's good to see you guys. I appreciate hopping on. It's always nice. I like when you slide in my DMs, Jer. Don't ever feel opposed to that. Joel, you too. But I'll see you in a couple of months.
I was gonna say I'm gonna see you this summer, aren't I?
That you are. I will be making my way out to Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I'm real excited. Usually it's SummerSlam that I have to come out there for. But now that we got a Money in the Bank, I'm real excited.
Yeah,
real excited.
We're gonna book some local talent. We're gonna do a show, and you're not. No, we're not. Who am I kidding? We're gonna talk to wrestlers. We're gonna talk to Cody Rhodes.
They got a rec room right across the street from the Scotiabank Arena.
Yes, and it's probably already booked for a show that's not yours.
It's probably not my show. It's probably Smash, which would be neat. If I can go out and watch some Smash wrestling, I'm endorsed for what my endorsement is worth. Anyways, I'll let you get back to it.
Let's go.
Let's go. I'll see you guys in the comments. Thanks for having me. Love you guys.
Buddy.
Happy day of love. See you soon.
You.
Take care, friends.
Oh, take care.
I love Spencer.
We do. No pun intended. Okay, so the Bronson Reed thing I wanted to talk about earlier.
Okay.
I understood why people were upset, rightfully so. He is Australian. They want him to be there. There's actually a wrinkle to that story that people may have forgotten about. His wife is due.
I'm sure a bunch of people forgot about that because maybe they didn't know about it.
But that's
I didn't know about it. I completely forgot about it.
That's what I'm trying to say, is that I think a lot of people didn't realize or didn't know that his wife is due. That this is something that that they've been on. That's a journey that they've been publicly outspoken about, their IVF journey, for a while. And yeah, just taking a look at his timeline, it looks like this is around the time that she's due. So it makes sense. It sucks as a performer to not be able to go home and perform, especially when your home is, halfway across the world. But also, you're about to become a first-time father, and I fully understand and fully would expect that you'd want to be in the room, given the journey you've been on. So that's something that I think a lot of people hadn't thought about. But yeah, just wanted to put that out there for those who were like, "What happened?"
Again, I didn't think about it. I have not followed that at all. I try to, if it's a personal thing, even if it's a marriage, a relationship, a baby, unless it's an announcement that it happened, I certainly do not keep track of who is pregnant and when and all of that kind of thing. So I didn't think about it. I just saw Bronson Reed lose, and I was like, oh, that's a weird decision. And then once it came to my attention, it's like, oh, okay, that makes sense. Oh, it does make sense that if she's scheduled to deliver that weekend, that he would probably rather be there for that than going to Elimination Chamber, even though it is in Australia and he's talked about wanting to be on the show. Maybe there's a way they figured out, make it work. If the delivery is early, maybe he's able to make it out there to do something. But I respect that he's not gonna be like, I'm going to this wrestling event. Good luck to you. Because I think that would be the wrong decision.
Just the good luck, Godspeed. Let me know when he's out. No, you know what? Looking forward to hearing some good news very soon from that camp. And then in Indy, that's the other one.
Speaking of camp, Joel.
Oh, yeah. No, I saw that too. We'll talk about that in a sec if we want. And then we'll go over to AEW land. Let's yeah, just the Indy and Candace should probably get the tag titles match. Just have a quick match, have Indy come out, get a big pop, do a match, do a 10-minute match, and in and out. Why not?
Sure.
She's not going to win the Battle Royal unless she does, and the Jade thing really is kibosh, which, okay, fine. That's just what I expect to see is Indy on the card. She should be in some capacity.
Yeah, and he should be on the card. So tag title match makes some sense.
Yeah. Chat's saying, there's not much to say.
No, there's not. He was on, PW Insider saying Matt Camp has been released. He was on the bump. That's all I really know him from. I don't really watch that show. I hope, it seemed like it was kind of out of nowhere. I think it's unfortunate. Anytime anybody loses their job, I hope he's able to rebound and find something that, find something sustainable and suitable for him. Again, it always sucks when someone loses their job.
Yeah, I have nothing to add. That's exactly how it is. And so let's move along. Want to talk about AEW?
Matt Camp was there for a while.
He was doing some DVD stuff for a little bit too.
Oh, okay.
Like DVD production. Pro Wrestling Podcast. Buddy Dave said, "Happy AE Valentine's Day." That's the Norwegian thing. It's Valentine's Day. Happy AE Valentine's Day to you too, Dave.
What are we talking about with AEW?
So on Monday, you and I were kind of talking about Ring of Honor and just what does and doesn't work with Ring of Honor. And then we started talking a little bit about AEW and some of the stories and some of the shows and the way it's produced and some of the talent and how Kazuchika Okada could fit into the program, given that they have so much talent and depth is the big thing that needs to be discussed with AEW on a just a depth chart level. And then you kind of threw out there, they should do a hard brand split. And then at the moment I was like, no, I don't know if they really should.
Yes.
And I thought about it, and the answer really does become yes, and it's a multifaceted reason as to why.
You
It's
admit I
not.
was right. Thank you.
Yeah, I'm admitting you're right. I'm admitting that this is one thing that you have a good. This was a good idea, and it's been talked about by many people, so it's not like you're the first to think about it.
All
Okay,
my ideas are good.
no cheesecake.
I didn't have the idea of cheesecake. If I did, that would have been a terrible idea.
Awful. Anyway, the idea of doing a hard brand split works not only because we're talking about depth, but also we talk about this a lot when it comes to the promotion of each event. Often you don't know who's going to be there. You don't know which stars are appearing on the show until about a week or two out. If you have Collision, you know these people are exclusive to Collision. You can expect to see XYZ superstar. You're going to want to go to Collision. Same thing with Dynamite. XYZ superstar, you want to go see Dynamite. This is something that could be very helpful for AEW. This is something that, from a marketing perspective, can go very far for them. The brand split idea also works if your champions are floating again, and they have to do a good job of balancing who is a number one contender or who is a top contender for each title as the champions roam around, so that if the challenger for the AEW championship is a Collision-based wrestler, the Dynamite number one contender, whoever, they have to kind of tell that story in a way that it doesn't feel like they're just spinning their wheels on one show for the main title while the other guy is just imminently getting the title shot. You know what I'm saying? There is a bit of a title. There's a title storyline that needs to be threaded through both sides of the show, and there's a way to do it. This is an opportunity for Tony to say, this is the way that, you know, WWE did it, and this is how they screwed up. This is how I could do it better, and I would love to see that. So I just want to get your thoughts moving forward on this brand split thing that we've touched on before, but we haven't really gone to about in detail.
There's always been a way to do a brand split, whether it be AEW, WWE. I guess it was only two, because it was the only two that have like two television shows and national, maybe New Japan, maybe not. Regardless, you can do it. Problem is, everybody thinks there's only one way to do it because WWE's only done it one way the entire time, and they've screwed it up so often. Even now, they're doing qualifying matches, and hey, this SmackDown guy's on Raw, and this Raw guy's on SmackDown doing these qualifying matches. Like, okay, what's the point of brand split? They could just wrestle whenever they want to wrestle. It's dumb. There's a way to do it. You just have to actually commit to it. I've always said that they should lean in to the real sports stuff. I think it'd be great. You do a draft, you do free agents of getting contracts of like, oh, this person's a free agent. Like, maybe I can steal. You do trades. There's way to do it. The title situation is always the complicated part of it, because having two world titles, I know people feel a certain way about that. I get that. I think there's a way to do it with a floating world champion. And then you can do secondary titles. You put the international title on one show, you put the TNT title on another show. I know you got the Continental title now, but that's like on New Japan and ROH and other shows as well. Like, you get the trios titles, put them on one show, the tag team titles on one show. The women's stuff becomes iffy, because it's like, okay, does the world women's title go on one show? Does the TBS title go on another show? What is that? Does that raise the value of the TBS title? Does that lower the value of the women's title? Again, because they've already introduced all of these titles, you got to figure that, make it a little bit more complicated, where if they had started this from the beginning or whatever, it might be a little bit more subtle. It's something you got to figure out if you're going to do it. I don't think they're going to do it. I do think that it could be helpful because it allows for a little bit more focus on shows, but they could also just be better about threading things through from Dynamite to Collision. And I think they're actually doing that a good job tonight of, Collision. What do we set up? Well, we set up this Copeland and Garcia match on Collision for tonight's Dynamite. Dax Harwood, John Moxley, where was that set up? On Collision. You see it tonight.
No, I was told that was set up with absolutely no story. So I'll tell you off the air. There was one person who dug in, who does content, and everyone was just like, no, they set this up on Collision.
Put it in the private chat. I want to bury this person.
No, You would do it anyway, but go ahead.
Oh, put it in the private chat.
All right, one second. I got to open the private chat.
All you had to do was watch Collision. They had a confrontation.
Yeah, this should not surprise.
Oh,
Yeah, no, it shouldn't surprise you at all. I saw it and I was just like, of course.
they had a confrontation.
Yeah, they did.
Just,
No, I saw it and I'm sometimes I screw up when I'm just like, you know, we talked about the Garcia and Adam Copeland thing. Yeah, I screwed that up, but I felt a certain way. But this guy was like tenfold. He went all in.
Oh, sure.
Anyway.
All right, fine. Sorry, our pro wrestling takes aren't unlimited for this.
Yes, they have clear boundaries.
Can you see me winking?
Yes, I'm not paying attention to this. My soul will say, "I want to bury this person." Is my new favorite quote.
And if people are being dumb, then deserve to be called out on it. Call me out when I'm being dumb. Never happens.
Yes, tell him when he's telling lies.
You can call me out on it. So yeah, they've done a good job threading Collision and Dynamite this past week. You know, they can do better in some instances, but they have gotten better about it now that Collision isn't full on the CM Punk show and people are banned from attending that show. But I do think a brand split can work. People don't think it can work because they've just seen WWE do it and it's like, this is bad. But that's just because WWE's bad at it. It doesn't mean everybody's going to be bad at it. I think it can work. But you got to put a lot of care and a lot of attention to it. And we'll see, you know, if I don't think they're going to do it, but I do think they can.
Yeah, like you said, there's an attention to detail that has to go with it. Someone saying, you know, oh, don't do it. It's so WWE. WWE was really the first ones to try it. It's not so WWE. It's we have a large roster and a deep roster. Let's make it so that our roster is actually featured. Where WWE failed was that they didn't do a good job of featuring for a while. They weren't featuring the talent that they had on each roster. They were taking people who were on one roster, putting them over. Like it was, again, they muddied it up really quickly. Whereas in AEW, you have the talent, you have the ability, you should be able to put together a good 2-roster system that crosses over only when there are titles around. But we have a lot of titles too. That's what we're talking about. There's so many titles that suddenly one becomes less important if the only floating titles are the men's and women's and tag team titles. The trios title, I'd say get away, just get rid of it. To be honest, I'm not digging the trios titles. It hasn't really been. It's felt often like trios title or tag titles. We don't work with both as a main story or as like a fledgling division. It's like we took tags and then we added one more person to them, and now we have a trios. Like it's just, to me, it's always felt like the trios was made as a way to just have another set of titles and a different set of wrestlers teaming up together. And that's just my opinion. I would get rid of the trios title, stick to a tag title format. And again, you have the TBS championship and you have the women's championship. I like that the TBS title has been used as a more mid-card women's championship, especially lately. I'm hoping Julia Hart's okay because she has not been wrestling lately. But regardless, it would be a good opportunity to kind of feature that title, but you can't cross-brand it. So you'd have to have more women on one show versus the other, and then you'd have a floating women's champion. Again, this is kind of the issue that comes with the hard brand split. It's a good idea on paper, but then you have to figure out what the titles mean, because not every champion should be floating across both brands, in my opinion. One title has to be more important than the other. You shouldn't have 2 world champions, like you said. I agree with that. That was, again, they brought out the Real World's Championship because the guy who was holding it wasn't going to go over work Wednesdays, even though he wanted to, and it just wasn't going to work. So the brand split is on paper a good idea in terms of showcasing the depth of your roster and showcasing which talent you will see specifically on which day. It's good from a marketing perspective, but there are other things that need to get cleaned up in order to make it work and be a proper and successful concept.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to do it. I think there are ways to do it. Figuring out the title situation would probably be the toughest part of that, because they do have so many titles. You know, you don't want to put like ROH titles on these shows because
No, I would like to see them in ROH instead. Thank you.
yeah. So that would be the toughest part of it, is just figuring out the title situation. And otherwise, though, like, they have the talent roster to do it. You can get more TV time. That's one of the big purposes of a brand split, mind you, is, hey, we can't give this person TV time because Jon Moxley needs a match on this show and has a match on this show. But if Jon Moxley has a match on this show, that's going to allow more television time for somebody else on a different show to be on. Like that's one of the big purposes of a brand split, is to get more TV time for other people, because you're not using your top stars on both shows. You have your top stars on each show, but then those stars help lift the rest of the roster. I think that was the purpose when WWE attempted to do it the first time, is like, hey, we got a lot of talent. Let's maybe feature some more of this talent, because the television time is limited if The Undertaker is taking 20 minutes for his entrance on both shows. So I think the brand split's a good idea. You got to just put some care and attention into it. Jason said real sports feel. That's always been my argument for a brand split. Do free agent kind of stuff. Do trades. Do deadlines. Do whatever speculation of things. Like, there's a good way to do that. And Tony's obviously a sports guy, being involved with Fulham and the Jaguars. So I think he can see some of these ideas in his head. But, even with the rankings, you can have separate rankings. Here's your Dynamite rankings. Here's your Collision rankings. And you can actually put more care into those, because the rankings right now, 2 weeks in, and I'm like, what's the purpose of these?
I'll pull up a couple of chats. One, Why Syllable saying you could do it with the Young Bucks current gimmick. This is kind of the problem that I have with the Bucks. Like, on its head, what you're saying, Why Syllable, makes sense. But what's annoying to me is that the Young Bucks gimmick is that they're EVPs, and they should be able. Well, they just gave themselves a world tag title shot, given that Sting and Darby won, and that's okay. But now it's like, how deep into the EVP lore, or EVP like taking spots from other people's story, do you want to get?
They should come out on Dynamite tonight and be like, we ain't wrestling you dudes.
We're just taking the titles. They're ours. Yeah.
We already won.
They
Lay down or be fired.
And then Tony comes out. Oh, this is bullshit. Oh, that'd be great. And then Hassan saying, I don't watch WWE. What is not working with the brand split right now? It seems their fans accept. Okay, so the fans are accepting it because at least they're like, right now, the Elimination Chamber is not like, the qualifying matches are not split at all. Like, wrestlers from SmackDown and Raw are currently competing on each other's shows and kind of stepping all over each other. The brand split has been like, it exists, but it doesn't exist for random things that they deem non-brand split worthy. And that's why it's been weird.
I think this is one of the almost rare instances where they've tried to put some care into the brand split, because you have a general manager on each show instead of just Pierce being the showrunner for both. They're doing the free agent. We want to make an offer to this person. They're doing that kind of stuff. They try to explain of like, you were here because you were invited here. Paul Heyman with the famous visitor's pass type of thing. Like, they're trying to make it make sense at points. And, with the Elimination Chamber qualifying matches, it's like, well, we're doing qualifying matches, so it's going to be Raw versus SmackDown talent to get in, so the matches can take place on both shows. Like, they're trying the best they've tried in a very long time with the brand split. It still isn't as like a hard brand split, but people have just accepted that it's just not a hard brand split, and they're going to do things. Before, they just wouldn't even try, though. It's just like, yeah, this person showed up, or they did like the friggin'
the quarterly
superstar.
The brand to brand quarterly invitation.
Yeah, the quarterly invitational. They did that like once to try to explain why Charlotte Flair showed up, and then like they never used that term again because they actually didn't care to do it. Like, that was just their attempt to be like, Charlotte Flair is here because of this reason, and then they never did anything to follow up on that. Like, they're at least putting some care into it now. But because they've done it one way for so long, there are things that just people have just accepted when it comes to WWE. It's like, yeah, sure. Like, we get it. We've been privy to this for 2 decades now. This is just how they're going to do things.
Some of the chat's also making a very good point about the idea of a brand split. The rankings are back, and that does kind of play into why you couldn't do a brand split so easily. And I agree with that. But also, you and I talked about this on Monday. The rankings have already been kind of a what are we doing here kind of moments. It's not as good as maybe we expected or anticipated it coming back to be.
You can tell stories with the rankings. They're trying to tell some stories with the rankings, and they're missing in some aspects, but they're going to continue to use the rankings to attempt to tell these stories.
Yeah, but as a brand split with rankings, that makes it a little more difficult. Is really
well, that's when you just split the rankings. That's all you got to do.
This sounds very complicated. I don't like it.
Well, maybe they should just not have rankings.
That's true. Maybe wrestling should just go away. Welch isn't sent a super chat saying the only time WWE really did the brand split right was the 2002 draft. That's when it started. Was right after WrestleMania 18, they decided to do the brand split, and it worked at first, and then it kind of fell apart after a couple of years.
Yeah.
That.
Yeah.
And then another super chat from Will saying it is funny that the only time AEW kind of did the brand split was to keep Punk and the Bucks and Hangman away from each other. It's true. They forced their hand, but it got a lot of people talking about the potential positives of doing a brand split. And a lot of them happen to be things that you and I just talked about. At the time, it was their hand being forced to it. Now there's an opportunity because people aren't being banned from the arena to do it and make it make sense. But again, it's not currently like high in the cards for AEW.
No, I don't think they're going to go to a brand split anytime soon, but we shall see. Maybe they will. Maybe it'll pop a rating. Tony loves that, right? You do a draft episode always pops a rating. People love that shit. I do.
By the way, Sean Rossap did confirm Fightful is able to confirm Matt Camp was let go by WWE last week. And of course, we send our best and we wish him well. So just want to put that out there because I know some people wait until Fightful is able to confirm these things. We can tell you now it is confirmed. Last but not least, speaking of departures, I did make reference to this when Sean was here, and that was the Scott D'Amore TNA departure. You and I started talking about this last week, and we wanted to tread carefully because there was a lot of info out there, but we didn't know what was what and what was, how to talk about it yet. We got a little bit more information from the Fightful Select side of things, and that is that D'Amore didn't want to go, which was highly speculated on to begin with, and that Anthem pushed him to basically say it was mutual, and that Scott D'Amore did want to buy TNA, came up with an option, an offer, and Anthem said no, and here we are. This is a very strange story that's developing, Jeremy. You got the guy who was considered the heart and soul, not wanting to do business with the business that owns them. And unfortunately, it's hitting morale pretty hard for TNA.
Yeah. There's still a lot to unpack from this. Fortunately, it doesn't appear that it was anything of a negative situation that led to D'Amore's departure, as far as like stuff that is reprehensible. So that's at least one good aspect of this. But it just seemed like there was two people, two companies, two entities going in a different direction, and they couldn't get on the same page with everything. D'Amore clearly has a lot of passion for TNA, and he wasn't going to be able to, I guess, run it the way he wanted to. So he tried to buy it. Anthem was like, nah, not doing that. There's still a lot there, and it's a tough look for the talent because the talent was obviously D'Amore was on the ground with them. Like, I don't know how they got any relationship with Anthony Siccione. Like, I have no idea. We're scheduled, by the way, to have Masha on Friday. Fingers crossed, comes through.
Masha Hart.
Scheduled to have Masha Slamovich on Friday. We'll ask her about this. We'll ask her, they're challenging for the tag titles at the next pay-per-view. MK Ultra is. So we'll ask her, like, your thoughts on D'Amore and this, and like, were you taken aback by it? Have you spoken with Anthony Siccione about this stuff? We'll try to get our thoughts on this. So, but yeah, it's a tough situation. I'm sure there's more that's going to continue to come out about this story, and we'll see kind of where all the chips fall after this. If D'Amore's still involved in wrestling, where he goes in wrestling, if Anthem was right in the way they're trying to push this product, and if without D'Amore, we'll see.
Siccione was in Vegas for Hard to Kill. I don't know for sure if he was at Bound for Glory, but it sounds like he may have been there. Regardless, it was by surprise to many, but also apparently it's been on the docket for a month with Scott.
Yeah. Which is, I guess, weird because they announced the TNA rebrand and it seemed like this is the guy you'd want to lead the rebrand. But again, it seemed like two different philosophies. He wanted to do the rebrand. He wanted to do all these things with the rebrand. And Anthem was like, maybe not.
Feels like Anthem said yes to a point.
Yeah.
And then, of course, people were mentioning, the production upgrades and things like that. Apparently, those were largely software. So instead of using DaVinci Resolve to do your post-production, maybe now they're on Final Cut Pro. It can be as simple as that. So there is it's such a weird story that continues to grow, and we are going to hear more and more about it. I'm sure eventually Scott's going to give his side of things. I'd be surprised if he didn't. Hell, I'd love for him to do it on this show, but of course, Dad will only listen to me so many times.
Why can't you get him on the show, Joel? What's wrong?
I can't get a one-on-one with him at a TNA event. I can't get a one-on-one with him on the internet. Dad just doesn't love me. That's just what it is. He just doesn't love me anymore. I know, it's very upsetting. But it's a weird time to be covering TNA just because there's such a level of uncertainty. And I said it on a million different shows that 2 weeks from now, when they do the show, I guess it's next Friday now, when they do the show in New Orleans, that's going to be the first test of how the new regime takes, how much really changes. So we'll see. I hit a couple of super chats right away. Ryan Lambert says, just showing my love for some of my favorite peeps. Thank you. We love you too, buddy.
Thanks, Ryan.
It is the day of love here. And Will Chisholm says, this sucks for TNA, but it feels so TNA. Let's get rid of the person who our talent loves and respects. And it does feel weird. And it's very strange. And it's a very strange story that we're going to continue to talk about. If it was just a philosophies thing and an expectation thing, again, on its head, the way this has always sounded was Scott wanted to be the intermediary between Anthem and TNA. And Anthem said, no, we give you enough money. We deserve to have more say because you are our brand. And Scott said, LOL, no. And Anthem said, LOL, get out of here. And that was that. And there was a budget, there were budget conversations. There's money involved. It's a very strange, again, I'm going to keep saying a very strange situation, but it's where they go.
Yeah. Yeah. They were, we'll see. There's more to the story that I'm sure will continue to come out. But right now, it just seems like a difference in philosophies and one side wanting and expecting one thing and the other side wanting and expecting another thing. They couldn't get on the same page with it. And instead of trying to fight against it, they just let D'Amore go because Anthem still makes the decisions. It's still, even though it's TNA wrestling, Anthem is still the parent company.
My biggest fear. Oh God, I don't want to put this out there, but I will. So you know who one of the people in the creative room is right now?
I mean, I know a few, but Tommy Dreamer?
Delirious.
Oh.
And for those of you who watched Ring of Honor while Delirious was booking, oh buddy, it wasn't always that great. But there are other people. Tommy Dreamer is one of them. Lance Storm is there producing. Gail Kim is there producing.
I think if you're a TNA fan, your biggest concern right now should be Anthem cutting bait with the entire promotion.
Yes,
that should be your biggest concern. As long as Anthem is still owning them, they're probably going to be fine because they're going to stay on Axis, and as long as they have access, they're okay. If Anthem decides, you know what, this ain't worth it, and they do, let's say they do sell to D'Amore or Jeff Jarrett or whoever, but they say, but like you ain't on our channel anymore. Like we got no reason. They bought the company to basically keep them on television.
And
If they
stick
say,
to New Japan.
yeah, like if they say, you know what, this just ain't worth it. The return on investment ain't good on this. Sure, take it, Scott. Take it, Jarrett. Take it, whoever. And then they don't have a television home. That should be the biggest concern. If they're just preying off of YouTube money and Impact Plus money, that's only making you sustainable for so long. And I imagine their payroll is kind of high, just with the kind of the names they've had and the names they've brought in.
Yeah. Someone asking, did Scott negotiate talent contracts? Yeah, that was part of his role. There were other people doing negotiations, but he was there. Super chats, TNA chats. Anyway, Will Chisholm sent a super chat saying he had a great match against Mello. How'd you get out of the straight jacket last night? I swear to God, when Joe Gacy and I have our face-to-face interview in Toronto at Heatwave weekend, that's when all the answers will come. Speaking of answers, Steve Macklin and I have an interview that drops at noon in a few minutes here over on Fightful. Yeah, youtube.com/Fightful.
Oh.
He and I sat down for about 25 minutes talking about a lot of stuff, including our mutual hatred for people who make us fight each other. Sean Ross Sapp, Jeremy Lambert, you people. Hashtag you
What
people.
I do?
You facilitated our problems. You
You
did.
facilitated it.
No, I didn't. You were
You were
like
the
"Why
one
do you hate
speaking
Canada?"
ill about America.
That was him.
What do you mean him?
About Canada.
Yeah, you spoke ill about America.
Yeah, you did. It drops to. I thought it was today.
Yeah, I thought it was tomorrow too because it aligns with TNA Thursday.
Oh, you're doing it on Wednesday. Anyway, I'm just gonna whatever. Let's just say it drops today, and then people can be like, "Why does it say it dropped tomorrow?" And I'll be like, "Well, it
No,
drops
we're not
tomorrow."
gonna lie to the people.
But I like lying to the people. It's more fun.
Don't do that.
All right, I won't lie to the people. Apparently, it drops tomorrow. I'm an ass. But yeah. Okay, it drops tomorrow. My mistake. I'll just take it down until I'm sorry, Macklin. We had to bump him like we did with Matt Damon. Sorry, Matt Damon. We didn't have time for you this week.
All apologies to Steve Macklin. We could not run his interview today.
That's right. We had no time. You want to talk about Dynamite real quick? Do the things. Blow out your voice for Valentine.
Oh yeah, that's my voice has sounded like halfway decent for the first time in like 2 months.
So it's time to ruin it completely.
I gotta get warmed up here.
I was right. Yeah, I did know about that. Anyway.
All right, sure. All right, everybody. So, as people know, it is AEW Dynamite. I don't know what it is.
Dynamite.
You see Tony take my advice, by the way, of like trying to tweet to drum up interest because I was like, buzz seems kind of low for this show, Tony. Ratings were down. Viewership was down last week despite a big show. He should have called The Rock out, though, for like Dwayne comes back, doesn't watch the product at all. And just decides Rock and Roman's the biggest match, and they had to pivot because Dwayne wasn't paying attention to how over Cody is. That's what he should have done. He should have called out The Rock.
Maybe he still can. He can still do it tonight.
He should call out The Rock. But I don't know if he will. Maybe he will tonight on AEW Dynamite.
Oh.
And the only way to watch AEW Dynamite is to tune in at 8 p.m. Eastern, live on TBS. It is AEW Dynamite. We're back in Cedar Park, Texas, the HEB Center, the Heb Center. We love the great state of Texas at AEW. We are always in the great state of Texas with AEW and AEW Dynamite live tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern, only on TBS. We have a tremendous lineup for everybody. We're coming off one of the biggest AEW Dynamites in history, certainly the biggest of the year, because at the end of last week's episode of AEW Dynamite, we saw Sting and Darby Allin win the AEW Tag Team Championships from Ricky Starks and Big Bill. Unfortunately, their celebration was short-lived because the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, the EVPs of AEW, they entered the ring with bats and they bloodied up Sting and Darby Allin. How will the Young Bucks fare tonight on AEW Dynamite as they take on Top Flight, Dante and Darius Martin? The Young Bucks are looking to stack up wins ahead of AEW Revolution live on pay-per-view March 3rd. The only way to watch it is live on pay-per-view. We are almost sold out. March 3rd, AEW Revolution in Greensboro, North Carolina at the famous Greensboro Coliseum for Sting's last match as he teams with Darby Allin, the AEW Tag Team Champions. They will be in action March 3rd, AEW Revolution live only on pay-per-view. They will not be in action tonight live, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite. But the Young Bucks, Matthew and Nicholas Jackson, they will be in action against Top Flight Dante and Darius Martin, who will climb up the AEW Tag Team rankings to possibly earn a shot at Sting and Darby Allin. At AEW Revolution, March 3rd, live only on pay-per-view in Greensboro, the Greensboro Coliseum, Greensboro, North Carolina. Also tonight, we have Tony Storm's new film, Wet Ink. You will not want to miss this film by Tony Storm, Wet Ink. It is going to be a tremendous film, possibly one of the best films Tony Storm has ever put together as she heads into a showdown with Deonna Purrazzo at AEW Revolution, March 3rd. Live only on pay-per-view, Greensboro Coliseum, Greensboro, North Carolina. But tonight, you can check out her new film, Wet Ink, live 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite, live only on TBS. You won't want to miss Wet Ink, featuring Timeless Tony Storm, featuring Luther, featuring who knows who else. The only way to tune in is to watch it live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite on TBS. Check out Tony Storm's film, Wet Ink, the AEW Women's World Champion, Timeless Tony Storm. Also in the women's division, we have Willow Nightingale against Sky Blue. It's a big match in the AEW women's division. It's Valentine's Day. Will Stokely Hathaway be there to impart his knowledge, impart his love on Chris Statlander and Willow Nightingale. The only way to check out as Willow Nightingale faces Sky Blue in the AEW women's division is tonight live 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite, only on TBS. We are going to have a great singles contest. We saw it on AEW Collision. We saw Jon Moxley and Claudio Castagnoli pick up a big win in the tag team division as they climb up the tag team ranks. And after the match, they were confronted by FTR, Dax Harwood, and Cash Wheeler. Well, tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, TBS, AEW Dynamite from Cedar Park, Texas. It'll be Jon Moxley. It'll be Dax Harwood. One-on-one for the first time ever in an AEW ring. Jon Moxley and Dax Harwood taking on each other in singles competition. It's going to be a tremendous match in the singles division for AEW as Jon Moxley looks to continue to climb the rankings as Dax Harwood looks to establish himself in the singles rankings. Both of these great tag team competitors going one-on-one in singles competition tonight live, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite, only on TBS. Plus, it is a Texas death match. Where in Texas, you big dumb bitch? It's going to be the AEW International Champion, Orange Cassidy. He made a challenge to any member of the Undisputed Kingdom. Orange Cassidy, very not happy with the Undisputed Kingdom taking out Chuck Taylor, the great Chuck Taylor, as he continues to be on the injured list thanks to the Undisputed Kingdom. Orange Cassidy said, I will take on any member of the Undisputed Kingdom, but they got to face me in a Texas death match. And Matt Taven, one half of the ROH Tag Team Champions, Matt Taven has stepped up to face AEW International Champion Orange Cassidy in a Texas death match. And you can only watch that match live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern on AEW Dynamite. All of that, plus we're going to hear from Hangman Adam Page, who is the number one contender for the AEW World title. Swerve Strickland, also the number one contender for the AEW World title. And the AEW World Champion Samoa Joe. All three men are going to speak as we are just weeks away from AEW Revolution, March 3rd. Only on pay-per-view. Only at the Greensboro Coliseum, only in Greensboro, North Carolina. We're going to hear from all three competitors coming off of Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page last week in the number one contenders match. What will they have to say as they head into a three-way showdown with Samoa Joe at AEW Revolution, only on pay-per-view March 3rd? Samoa Joe is going to speak. Swerve Strickland's going to speak. Hangman Adam Page is going to speak. And you can only hear their comments live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, AEW Dynamite on TBS. All that plus a big single showdown where the winner will get a shot at Christian Cage in the AEW TNT Championship. It's going to be Adam Copeland. He is in the top 5 of the AEW rankings. He's going to be taking on Daniel Garcia, who is on a tremendous win streak right now. Daniel Garcia and Adam Copeland. The winner will face Christian Cage for the AEW TNT Championship at AEW Revolution. The only way to watch this singles match is AEW Dynamite live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, only on TBS. It's a tremendous lineup that we have for all the great fans of AEW tonight as we are on the road to Revolution, one of the biggest pay-per-views of the year, AEW Revolution. It's March 3rd, only on pay-per-view. Greensboro Coliseum, Greensboro, North Carolina. But before we get to AEW Revolution on March 3rd, only on pay-per-view, it is AEW Dynamite live tonight, 8 p.m. Eastern, Cedar Park, Texas, the HEB Center. We can't wait to be in the great state of Texas with all the great AEW fans in Texas. Thank you to all the great AEW fans for tuning in to AEW Dynamite Each week, we've had tremendous ratings. This past week with AEW Dynamite, AEW Rampage, and AEW Collision. They weren't leaking the Fast Nationals this week, those little bitches on the internet. They weren't leaking the Fast Nationals because AEW was tops on all the great rankings lists. In the cable ratings, in the network ratings, on the demo ratings, the Nielsen ratings, the cage match ratings, all the ratings, AEW was at the top of the list. So they weren't leaking any of the ratings. But before you see the ratings tomorrow, you watching this right now, you can give your rating on how great of a show we're going to have by tuning in tonight. AEW Dynamite, 8 p.m. Eastern, live on TBS. Thank you to all the great AEW fans. Justified. This is awesome, Chads.
I mean, unless you're Louis and it's unjustified, this is awesome chance. Thank you, Louis. And Ryan Lambert said, for Joel's Wednesday snack fund today, Crispers. They're $1.67 at my local shopping place. So thank you. That goes a long way for my snack fund. Appreciate that. Now, before we get out of here, Copeland Garcia, is that the main event? I mean, that's top billing on the ad. And then what, you open with Cassidy and Taven and you go back to the old school opening because it's on Cassidy?
I don't know, Bucks might open.
They're doing Bucks and Top Flight. Yeah, I could see that. Like it's a good solid card from top to bottom. There's a lot of good stuff here. I'm just wondering.
AEW's ever had.
Someone did say that, yes. That someone was you. And there's enough going on tonight that it's like, the only thing I know for sure is that one match will happen at 9:23 p.m. Eastern, and you can all guess which one that is. Other than that, like I'm really looking forward to it, and hopefully we get a good night and a lot to talk about on Friday. Masha Slamovich is scheduled to join us on Friday. We're looking forward to that, and of course we'll talk about AEW Dynamite. We'll talk about anything else that happens in the world of wrestling. Looking forward to Friday. Jeremy Lambert, anything else to plug before we get out of here?
And John Moxley might open. He's always in an opening match. Mox and Dax might open.
That's true, and that's another match that, like, I don't know. I feel like the Cassidy match is enough of a thing. Like, it's enough of a draw that people would stick around coming out of the lead-in from Big Bang Theory. I don't know.
Jeff Jarrett's got to interfere in that match as the Texas Chainsaw Deathmatch champion.
I kind of hope he does. Set up Orange Cassidy versus Jeff Jarrett for the Texas. We're going to combine the two titles.
Yeah,
Texas, the International Texas Death Match champion. Let's go.
Yeah.
Plugs?
No.
Wonderful. We're back on Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern till noon, as usual, doing our thing, talking about the wrestling, talking about other stuff. And I'm Metro Hurl, JOELPERL. Ladies, gentlemen, friends of me on the binary. We'll see you on Friday.